I started sketching actually in this park, what is it, February? Probably about almost a year ago. It's nothing elaborate and grandiose, but just little things that would make a space seem a little bit more vibrant.
James Clark began working for the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, in September 2024, sketching in his free time.
It's an honor and a privilege of a lifetime to work in the EPA, in headquarters like in DC. We joined because we like to serve the public.
However, he never could have pictured what would happen next.
I say we as if I'm still working there.
Clark was laid off from the EPA during the recent wave of massive federal job cuts, just weeks after his wedding.
We turned an existing President's Day weekend trip into like a small honeymoon, and we got to celebrate with my dad and his girlfriend. They have a cabin up in the Adirondacks. So we made the trek all the way up there, and we had a wonderful weekend. I don't have my work laptop for obvious reasons. Like, I'm on my honeymoon, I want to be in the moment.
Clark returned home to find he no longer had access to his email and lost access to his work computer entirely later that week.
I don't have a termination letter in my possession.
The government laid off over 60,000 workers in the first 2 months of 2025. Another 75,000 employees accepted a buyout and voluntarily resigned.
I think in my entire time at EPA, there occasionally were, they're called reductions in force, but they were very specific to certain offices.
Daniel Fiorino worked at the EPA for 31 years under 6 presidents.
We have never seen this sort of effort to diminish the size and the capabilities of the federal workforce.
Clark is troubled by the administration's criticism of federal workers.
It's just very sad to see someone like Elon Musk take a chainsaw on live TV and say what we do doesn't matter.
This aligns with President Donald Trump's goal of, quote, eliminating waste in the federal government.
You had a lot of people that weren't doing their job. They were just obstructionists, and a lot of people that didn't exist, I guess, Lee, too. We found a lot of empty spots that the people weren't there. They didn't exist.
Members of Congress have mixed feelings about Trump's approach.
Well, let's see what he proposes and where we get to on that. I would like them to get refocused on their core mission as an agency.
Look, I'm all for rooting out fraud, waste, or abuse, but one has to achieve efficiency in a careful manner.
Clark worked as an economist in the Office of Community Revitalization, drawing up a plan to grow communities' economies while preserving the environment.
And it was equal parts fascinating and tragic and hopeful. It was a lot of emotions there.
He says his proudest moment was working at a Superfund site alongside community members.
I attended and kind of led a workshop in Turner Station, Maryland, which is just outside of Baltimore. I met with several people who were explaining the situation, and so it was sad to hear, but it was kind of fulfilling to just listen to and take it in and provide just some emotional feedback.
The EPA website reports over 1,000 sites on their national priorities list, funded by the Superfund program. In the 2024 fiscal year alone, almost $6 billion was allocated for Superfund cleanup operations.
They will not have any advocates for them within the government.
Basov Sen worries about the impact of the layoffs on these communities.
They will also miss the expertise of government-funded scientists who may be able to work with communities to document environmental justice impacts.
Clark says the best way to improve bureaucracy is to open doors for federal workers, not close them.
Bureaucrats need to be part of the conversation of how the federal workforce transforms.
While the future may feel like a first draft, Clark says he is looking for jobs in the areas of urban planning and design to illustrate new paths towards sustainability.
So it's kind of easy to take inspiration from. It's a little bit embarrassing and a little bit thrilling in a way to just put something into the unknown and wait to see what happens.
Putting pen to paper amid uncertainty. In Alexandria, Virginia, Victoria Ryan, Medill News Service.